is Emma, and welcome to my random weekly topic series. I really do need to give this a name. I asked for questions in my last video. If you want to ask questions in this one, please leave it in the comments below. You guys left me a lot of really interesting and awesome questions, so I'm going to be picking topics all from there. But again, if you want to submit some more, just leave it in the comment section. So, Luca Montimaggio, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I'm Australian, we can't speak properly. He asks, when did my interest in video games start and what has kept me going in video games? This is a really sort of long and sort of in-depth question, more than you would think. So, my interest in video games, I've been playing games since I was a little kid. Ever since I have memories, I can remember playing video games. So my first memories are my grandma. I mean, this is the weirdest person to get you into video games. My grandma used to play PC games a lot. One of the games she used to play was King's Quest, but she used to stick us on some other PC games, which she had, which were kid-friendly, that we used to play all the time. My neighbors also had a PS1, and I used to go out and play with them all the time. Fun memory, I used to be so bad at it back in the day that I remember they were playing Tekken, and you know, I was a little kid and they had obviously owned the console, and they were like, Emma, you can just be the Tekken referee instead. And I was like, oh, like, I don't get to play. I was just that bad. But sort of the moment where I really got into games when I was younger it took a while, but I convinced my parents to buy me a Game Boy Color, and so that was for my birthday when I turned 6, and I think at the end of that year, my uncle gave me a copy of Pokemon Blue, and I just remember being so hooked on that game. As I'm sure a lot of people sort of have the same thing with Pokemon, it resonates a lot with everyone. I played the shit out of that game. My friend had a link cable, that same neighbor, he had a link cable for his Game Boy, so we'd play all the time, so much. From there, then I progressed and got a PS2 and everything, and playing a lot of games from there. Then when I say hit maybe 12, 13, 14, I sort of fell away from video games a little bit. This was when I was getting into high school. I actually went to an all-girls high school, and pretty much no one I knew in that whole high school played video games at all. So obviously, trying to be assimilated with everyone, I stopped playing with them and doing other stuff, which, you know, it happens to actually a lot of people where they fall out of games for a bit. So that's what happened around then. I actually decided when I was around maybe 14, I think, I was like, you know what, I do want a games console. So I actually decided for that generation I was get a Nintendo Wii. Big mistake. Didn't lead me onto video games at all. Like, I'd played Mario Kart for a bit, but that was it. Then, I can't remember the reason why, but when I was going to turn 15, for some reason I got into my head, you know what, I really want a PlayStation 3. I really want to just sit down and play some video games with an actual controller again. So, I managed to convince my parents, being 15 and still not having any money, that getting a PlayStation 3 was going to be beneficial for the whole family. So I ended up getting a PlayStation 3 when I was 15. At that time, my parents were actually quite strict when I was younger in terms of like mature rating. I don't know. I'm just going to say that, mature rating games. So my parents were actually quite strict on letting me get any of them when I was younger. But the MA rating, which was the top rating in Australia at the time, was MA 15+. So when I turned 15, I was allowed to go and get any game that I wanted. So when I got my PS3, I got Killzone 2 and I think Assassin's Creed. So I was playing them for a long time. In that period, I had bought Uncharted 1 and really enjoyed it. So, you know, I was sort of getting into video games again. Then I started seeing trailers for Uncharted 2. And I was like, wow, this looks really good. So at the time, I think it came out October, November, at the end of the year that I got a PS3. I may be mistaken, but I think it was around then. I didn't have enough money to afford it, but I asked it for my parents at Christmas. So I got this copy of Uncharted 2 as my Christmas present. And something about this game was just so different than everything else. How everything just worked together. how much the story was an actual focus in it. It completely blew my mind, and pretty much ever since I played Uncharted 2, I have been quite insane about video games. I'm really happy I picked this up. Like, I wouldn't have been as into video games as I am now if that didn't happen. I wouldn't probably have my job if that didn't happen, because my job is in games. So everything flowed on from the gods at Naughty Dog with Uncharted 2. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that story. If you have any questions again for this topic series, leave it in the comments below and I will check them out and answer one next week. Thank you everybody, and I will see you again soon. Bye!